Welcome to Healing Relationship Patterns in the Akashic Records. I'm so happy to have you here, whether you are live or on the replay. I have been on to bring this information forward from the space of the Akashic Records during this eclipse season. Eclipse season is starting at the time of this recording in a few days. This information is valid regardless of when you listen to it. The biggest shifts that I have had in the space of the Akashic Records are within the context of relationship. This includes relationship with others, of course, and relationship with myself and relationships with other things in my life. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how the Akashic Records can support and guide you in the context of relationships. There's actually 4 main ways that it can assist healing patterns in relationships. So we're going to go through those 4 ways today. We're also going to make this a little bit interactive with those who are live with us today around what is coming up for you in these contexts that I'm going to be sharing. And let's allow this energy to shift in real time. What is coming up for you? Okay. You're going to notice that when we allow the reflections of other people in community to come forward, we learn more about these different pockets of where the Akash can guide and heal us. And we get more customized guidance. So we're going to start here by talking about how do we heal relationship patterns in the Akashic Records. So the main thing as an overall message here is that they really highlight the purpose that relationships serve, and they highlight the purpose of the challenges, so-called challenges that we say exist within relationship. And they also allow us to recognize contracts that have been made by our souls that exist in the space between us in human form that might feel different than we know they're meant to be. And so it's important for us to have a conversation about the importance of being in relationship with one another and using those spaces between us as catalysts for what is opening up from our soul. Meaning, what is our soul wanting to bring to us in terms of an awareness that we are meant to see, that we are meant to change, to become closer and closer to our divinity. Ultimately, we're here to be in service to ourselves, to each other, and to the divine. And co-regulation, that coming together, that support of one another, is vital for us to feel safe, for us to feel tethered, for us to feel like we do have that space to be able to kind of expand further into who we are and a greater understanding of divine principles and divine energy. So if you are here with me live, please say hello in the comments so that I know that feed is working here. If you are not familiar with the Akashic Records at all, and this is your first time hearing about this, I encourage you to check out my beginners video on YouTube. It tells you all about what the Akashic Records are, how they operate, why they're effective. And I take you into a ritual to open the Akashic Records so you have the opportunity to practice in this space yourself, bring through information yourself. Okay? Thank you so much for saying hello. I'm grateful that you're here today, and I'm grateful that the chat is working so that we can come into exchange around what's coming up on our relationships. The fact is, our relationships are a reflection of aspects of ourselves. And sometimes we can go back and forth when we're in a space of conflict around, all right, is that really bullshit? Is that really true? So we're going to troubleshoot that a little bit today. And we're going to recognize that regardless, relationships are here as medicine for us. Everything that we're being offered on this planet is a message from the divine, an invitation from the divine. And so we're here to become more discerning and precisely dialed into what that is. Okay? All right. We're also going to do a little energy healing today. Who likes energy healing around past lives, ancestral healing, and any limiting beliefs or doubts that may exist within your subconscious mind that you may have access to consciously that you may not? So we're going to do some healing around that as well. We're meant to be in a space of love. We're meant to be in a space of ease with one another. Okay. And I recognize that we're also human. And so we are also going to have duality. We're also going to have activations that exist between us, but that's exactly what they are. They are activations. Okay. They are activations, which is in kind of like that lighting a fire under your ass so that you see the opening that's in front of you rather than I am in struggle. I am in conflict. Okay. this takes practice. It's something I continue to practice as well. And the seeds that are going to be planted today are going to continue growing for you. It's not like this is a one and done, boom, okay, great. I know everything there is to know. Obviously, our evolution is constantly unfolding, and we're learning new things as we connect with the divine, with each other, and in relationship, in our own relationships in our lives. Okay, so let's start by talking about what is it the Akashic Records illuminate around patterns in relationships, right? Around how they can help us heal. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about today is this concept of soul contracts. So our souls, every relationship that we come into on this planet is a contract that our souls have made with one another to actualize a certain aspect of ourselves or our journey or our divine understanding. Okay. So sometimes those contracts are forever. Sometimes those contracts are short term. Sometimes those contracts are in and out, right? Where we're having a relationship and then we're like, okay, we feel complete. And then we come back because there's another iteration of that we are meant to see from a different perspective as we grow and expand. Okay. The other piece is that we can have past life connections with people. We can have karmic connections with people, which means these are the people that are coming into our lives to help us resolve a line of energy or a pattern of energy that isn't even ours, that's existed before our ancestral line even came onto this planet, right? That existed in past lives. And so that energy hasn't felt really resolved. And it comes into relationships here that can say, all right, I'm raising my hand to activate the fuck out of you, or I'm raising my hand to really allow you to rest in something that heals that pattern if it's meant to do so within this lifetime. We also have ancestral energies that the Akashic Records help us with and show us exist within patterns and relationships. We all understand this. Oh, my mother used to do it with my father. My grandparents did this song and dance. I don't want to repeat this song and dance in my relationships or with my children or any generations following, right? So we know that there are some really stuck ancestral patterns. And one of the reasons those are more stuck is because they're existing here on planet Earth as well, right? So they're taking on this density, these dense codes that exist within held physical form, like DNA, that gets carried through. And so the more that we take responsibility for coming into that central line with our divinity and coming into a softened space within our relationships with ourselves, with one another, and again, with our higher power, we are going to loosen some of the tension and some of the density that can kind of feel sticky and build up. Ancestral energy in this case can feel kind of sticky. Okay. So we're going to clear some of that today. And so this is when people talk about attachment and they say, okay, well, I have an anxious attachment pattern because I grew up this way and therefore this is why. So that's a little bit different than an ancestral pattern. So I just described the ancestral pattern, which is sticky, but people can throw this attachment narrative in with the ancestral energy and say, okay, well, I don't want to replicate this, right? Like, I don't want to do this again because this happened this time and this happened that time. Part of this is trauma. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Okay. Part of this is trauma. And part of this is a narrative and a limiting belief and something that you're attaching to. And sometimes we do that because we actually do get off on playing the victim some of the time. And sometimes it's because our trauma is not yet resolved and we need to work through that. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but I just wanted to separate the attachment piece from the ancestral energy itself because they're different. Okay. So let me know if you have difficulty delineating between the two. Okay. So I'm going to take a quick sip of water and we're going to head into this first space that they're talking to us about with these soul lessons. Okay. And this recognition that when we're in the space of the Akashic Records, which really means you are in intimate relationship with your soul, your intimate relationship with the story of your soul from the time it first sparked through all iterations, all lifetimes, all ancestral history, your current lifetime and future lifetimes. It's got all the information that has touched and come into contract with your soul. So when we're in space with this, we don't have to come into this like searching, analytical space, concrete space around, I'm coming in here to find an answer to this, right? We are coming into the Akashic Records to be in presence with the energy of relationship as it presents within our field. Okay. And I'm sure that when I say that, there's thoughts that come up in your head about a relationship that immediately pops up. Oh, my partner. Oh, my mother. Oh, my sister. Oh, like relationships that are top of mind or that feel the most conflict ridden or that feel the most close to you. And I want you to disconnect from that right now. Disconnect from who these people are in relationship, the stories you have, the experiences you've had together within these dynamics. Okay. Instead, what I want you to do is I just kind of want you to come into present space right now. And I'm just going to very quickly and lightly open up the Akashic Records for us. Okay. And again, I shared that link, which I'll drop again for any of you who weren't here at the beginning. If you want to learn how to go into your records, there's a YouTube video you can access to have a longer ritual to get into that space. But for the purpose of this recording, I really want to just be spending more time in the space of the records. Just taking a nice deep breath in with me, allowing the tension to release from the body, relaxing the jaw, softening the face. Allow your breath to widen and deepen. Allow your crown to open just above the top of your head, sending energy all the way down through your chakra system, your central energy centers, all the way down through the root space into the core of Mother Earth. And just being present here. Let's feel the softening of the heart space. I can feel the heart space softening. Sending you some reiki. I'm just inviting all of our guides, angels, loved ones, and ascended masters to be present with us in this space. And with this next breath, we will open up the Akashic Records, calling in the highest light and divine intelligence. Just being present with this energy for a moment. And with each in-breath, I want you to feel magnetic, as if you're calling in all scattered energy or energy that is yours, that desires to be integrated at this time, back into your central column of energy that runs up and down your spine. Breathe that in with each inhale, and then a nice relaxing release on the exhale. Giving that lots of space to integrate. Just doing this for a couple more breaths, breathing in all of this energy back to you. And relax and open, allowing space for integration and receptivity. Okay, and just coming into space now, keeping your eyes closed and your breath moving. If you want your palms to face the sky, feel free. Allowing the body to relax even further and just coming into present energy with the energy of relationship. Feel into the sensation and the texture of the energy of relationship. In your field, in your physical body, you may taste something. You may feel a sensation on your skin, an emotion or sensation in the body. You may feel a knowing or a clearing. Continuing to breathe here. And intentionally calling forward all energies of your past lives that are meant to be seen and cleared right now, bringing them in from the top of your crown down through the shoulders, all the way through the arms, out into the palms of the hands. Hold this past life energy in the palms of the hands. Just be present with it and breathe with it. You do not have to know what these energies are on a conscious level. You may get some flashes. It is not necessary for the healing to be received and to clear. Take a nice deep breath in from your root all the way up to your crown. And on the exhale, you're going to blow this energy out of the palms, allowing it to scatter like fairy dust into the cosmos, into the air on this planet if it desires to settle on Mother Earth. And just continue a few more of those breaths to make sure that you're releasing all of that energy. You may even find that some energy is still trickling in through the arms. Giving it a few more breaths here, just some space with this. And once you start to feel that that energy is cleared or is just about cleared, take a nice deep breath in. You can open your eyes, rub your hands together. Even put your fingers together like this if you want. And then just shake it out. Okay, putting one hand on the heart, one hand on the throat, and just breathe nicely here. With a light, compassionate breath. Feeling love, feeling compassion, feeling tenderness. Okay, and then just relax the body. Allow yourself to come to center. Get a drink of water if you want. Share anything that might have come forward for you there. We're going to do one more clearing before we head on to the next section. One of the things that it's important for you to receive that they're sharing with me now is just as we created space and we offered our own pace to be able to move the breath and to feel into the clearing of this energy, you get to move at your own pace in relationship. You get to tune into the energy of relationship that currently exists in the space between you and another, no matter what's going on, and release any energies of urgency that are attaching to you, whether that is from other people, whether that is from your ancestral line, whether that is from just this nervous system activation that could be coming from the energy itself, right? It's remembering that core of you, which continues to get fortified in the space of the akash as you create relationship with this space more consistently and make it your primary relationship. You know with such clear discernment what is yours and what is not. You know the palpable sensation of you. There's no urgency culture here in relationships. There's no pace at which we have to resolve something, at which we have to know something, at which we have to give something or receive something. Okay, so that's one of the things they want you to take, other than conscious understanding from anything that comes forward from these healings today. More importantly, what does it feel like, right? And what that felt like, what was coming through was this sensation of pace. Feel into the pace of moving energy in relationship. Okay, it doesn't matter that we were just healing relationship with past lives. It is relationship. It is relationship energy. Okay, we're not attaching to a specific partner or construct in our minds. Okay. Yes, Ninka. See, you picked up on that fast-paced energy in the thyroid. I feel like I need to be slow. There's a lot of invitations for slowness lately, especially, as I said, at the time of this recording, we're entering eclipse season. That I am, and I know my center, right? Repeating that mantra, I know my center. My center is clear. My center is clear. My center is clear. Okay. Claiming that knowing that knowing. Was seeing wind blowing pages into the sky and hands reaching to retrieve and collect them. That's really beautiful. And I'm glad you brought that up, Brittany, because when we talk about coming into the energy of relationship and the akash, whether you're opening your record, your Akashic record, or somebody else's record, it doesn't matter, because it all contributes to the collective consciousness. I mean, it does matter because you're getting more specific energies there. Okay. Like more dialed in energies, more precise to your field. Yes. But what I want you to recognize is that everything that we're experiencing, somebody else on this planet is also experiencing. Like even when we think we're alone in something, right? We're never alone in anything. And so there's always energy that somebody wants to grab from our field. And there's always energy that we want to give from our field, or that we want to receive into our field. And so it's coming into recognition that this energy of relationship is unifying. It's truly unifying. Okay. All right, thank you. Let's go back into one more healing in this section about ancestral patterns, okay? And this is really going to include some energy around karma. And karma is really not this understanding of, you know, I'm being punished for things that happened before, I need to fix this, or, you know, I'm locked in, I'm doomed. No, all karma is an invitation into carving a new pathway, a new timeline, creating a new sensation of freedom that we get to introduce to anyone we're in a relationship with, including the collective, right? And it's showing us where some of this energy has not been as free flowing as it desires to be. And we get choice in that. Karma, anytime that comes up, is really an invitation for choice. It's a new doorway. It's a new gateway. Okay. All right. So close your eyes again with me, coming back into this space of receptivity, loosening the body, the jaw, the face. Allow yourself to receive from the divine. Take a nice deep breath in. And here we're just going to start tapping along the meridian. 2 hands. You can use 1 hand. You can go lightly. You can go more free, whatever floats your boat. And here we're just calling up and breaking up old sticky energy. Might not be our own. I encourage you to tap all the way down to the sacral space, which is the womb space. Whether you have an actual physical womb or not, all of us energetic womb space. Just below the belly button. You can go to the sides, going up the sides of the body. Tap wherever you feel drawn. You can even chant as you do this. Chanting is a beautiful way to call forward ancestral energy and loosen any energy in the body that's feeling a little resistant and is a little feisty and is like, I don't want to come forward today. I want to stay here. One more deep breath here. Give yourself all you got with this tapping right now. And then open your palms to the sky again and release the tapping. Being present with the energy that has arrived. Being intentionally present with any ancestral energy, patterns that have existed within our DNA. I want you to place 1 hand right on your lower pelvis and 1 hand on your lower spine, right at the base of your spine. And take a nice deep breath in. And if you can't do this physically, just visualize it. Keep breathing into this space as you're witnessing illuminated strands of DNA moving up the back of your spine. You can witness several strands of DNA. You can witness them replicating. You can witness them at all depths of your spine, swimming in the fluid of your spine, wrapping around your spine. Just play with it. Breathe into this space and just witness this energy. Allowing this energy to really wrap up the back of the head, the back of the neck, of course. You might even notice that this DNA kind of wraps in branches around the front of the head, all the way up past the crown. And as you continue to breathe, these tendrils of DNA extend through your limbs, through your entire abdomen, illuminating your current genetic blueprint in the body, allowing any dark, tar-like, sticky energy to drip out the fingertips, the ears, the toes, and even the root space right there at the base of your spine. You may even find some dripping out the throat. Anywhere it feels appropriate to release, let that happen as this illumination of DNA extends and travels through the spine, the body, and the energy field. Sending you some reiki to clear any stories or narratives or energies or mind activity that is connecting to this ancestral energy. The message coming through: you are one, we are all one. This energy is not ours, but we were meant to carry it. We are no longer. We're meant to feel a lightened state, a sense of greater freedom, a sense of a clean slate, a fresh energy of new beginnings. You can release your hands from the spine now and from the lower belly. And just breathe. What if karma didn't matter? What if you trusted yourself so much and cleared yourself so much in exercises like this that your discernment is so sharp in your relationship with your soul and the akash that you don't need to have any conscious understanding of karmic patterns, because the awarenesses that come up for you in the moment or in a patterned way are of course going to get your attention, and you're going to have calm, centered, refined perspective on this that allows you to bring a soft, loving transformation to the energy. Being present with that full reality, that vibrational truth right now, claiming that as your resonance. Okay. When you're ready, coming back into a more present space here. That's beautiful, Mark. This relationship has sails and navigates on the storming weather of life. At night, stars are reflecting on the calming waters, a time to let go and feel part of the universe. That's really beautiful. What a perfect depiction of just like resting, right? In this kind of ebb and flow within relationship. And that's another important piece to bring up. People talk about coming into balance of your masculine and feminine. And let's be clear, yes, okay, that's a helpful concept to understand, especially if you're at one extreme or the other. Like super extreme masculine, where I'm just in this, super structured, go, go, go. It's got to be this way. I'm in kind of more controlling energy, which is really the wounded masculine, right? And then, or you're too much in the feminine way, where you're flowing so much that you don't have the disciplined devotion for even a spiritual practice, right? So I get that. And there is value in having that understanding. But outside of that, just for self-awareness purposes, right? And to kind of keep bringing yourself back into harmony. But the fact is that when we connect to our souls, when we connect in the akash, everything is genderless, right? Everything is genderless. We are all one. Mm. So it's important to keep that in mind in relationship, even with people's shenanigans and, you know, their physical appearance, their gender, their culture, their whatever you want to call it, right? Like, we are connecting soul to soul. We are connecting soul to soul with people. And there's so much that we fixate on that can be really fairly irrelevant when we really come into true, pure connection soul to soul with other human beings. And that does not mean that you are going to be the perfect fit for every human being, right? But our soul has chosen these contracts for us so that we can learn more about the natural co-creation of the energetic blueprint that was chosen for this lifetime and our soul's purpose. They had my hands caress my face with love and said, all is well. That's beautiful. What a beautiful receipt. Thank you for receiving that. Okay. So that's the first section. Okay. That was going to take the longest. The next few are quicker, which is because we cleared some past life energy. We cleared some ancestral energy, some karmic patterns, right? And that is one way that we can heal our relationships in the Akashic Records, and really looking at relationships as energy and not getting so caught up in who, what, how, when, all of these things, right? And pace, this message about pace that came through. Okay, so that's a little review as to section 1 around the energy of a relationship. This section 2 is this trauma response stuff that I started talking about earlier. These attachments. This is when we get into the blame game. This is when we get into grippy energy. This is when we get into I have to. This is when we get into controlling energy. And what can happen here is we can bounce from relationship to relationship to relationship because we're really not coming into presence with the patterns that are here to show us that they desire release or they desire a greater refinement or understanding. Okay. And these are, this is the stuff when we talk about looking at past relationships and the trauma attachments and blame game that's there. These are all limiting beliefs and narratives. Right. So do you know a narrative that's coming up in your mind right now about relationships? Like, I'm never going to find this, or this person's always pissing me off, or watch, this is how this person's going to respond to this text, or let's just see how this person, right? Like, these are the kinds of things that come up, this almost like anticipatory energy of like, I know exactly what this bitch is going to do. You know what I mean? Like, we have these narratives and these templates and these pathways that have been constructed within our nervous systems that we have been in agreement with. We have been in agreement with having these be constructed. Okay. And there's a reason for them. So we're not going to shame ourselves for them. We're not going to kick ourselves for them. We're going to look at them with like a light curiosity and almost a humor, right? Where it's like, intriguing. Thank you for showing yourself to me, right? Where it's like, well, this person, and I want to put a caveat in here that this does not apply to abusive relationships. Okay. This is assuming that you are in safe relationship and that you are on like physically safe relationship. Okay. So that's an important caveat. And if you've had acute trauma in relationship or acute trauma in general, right, it's important for you to really anchor that safety before you try to shed some of that blame or those attachments, because there is a real reason and a real presence for anger. There is a real presence for, blame, so that you can anchor safety temporarily. And then once you do that, it's being able to say, I desire to be free of this. Because even if blame is there, or resentment or frustration is there, I'm an energetic attachment to this person, right? Or not even this person. I might even still want to be connected to this person, but I'm an energetic attachment to this pattern. Energy coming up in your field. What that's here for is for you to be present with the fact that that is energy in your field and not about this person, not about the situation, right? Again, unless we're talking about a situation where you're not safe, because everything about what's that divine symbolic, including relationships, including relationships. So shit is in a relationship or something being handed to you, there's always invitation to curiosity there, right? And this can be a curiosity into, hey, this is something that my energy is not available for. When I connect to that central line within me, does this feel like me? Right? Does this feel like something that I'm available for? Does it feel like that stuff is calling back to me? Is anybody else having trouble with the sound? Let me know. Okay. So we want to be present with the energy itself and come into, when we're in a space of relationship, being able to say, okay, I am going to be in present space with this energy. So you say to that person in relationship or whatever, you say like, okay, I hear what you're saying, XYZ, right? Okay, thanks. I hear what you're saying, XYZ. Okay, I see you in this space of wherever you're in. I just desire to be in space with me for this energy, right? Like I want to honor it. I want to bring it softness. I want to bring it that clearing that we just did, right? Like I want to be in presence with it. And you're looking at it more as energy rather than getting into this narrative. And sometimes we need to rant and rave a little bit, right? Sometimes, depending on your human design, if you're somebody who follows human design, right? Depending on that, sometimes you do, if you have an identified G center, you need to, identity center, speak things out, right? And just kind of get it out, but without attaching to it, without letting it rile you up, without this being a space for you to kind of keep expanding the tension and analyzing it and going into it, right? Instead, it's like, okay, I'm going to let this be seen so that any shame on either end gets to dissolve. And then I'm just going to be in space with the energy. Right. And I'm going to trust the energy. And I think that's what happens is this is where pace can come in a lot with relationship stuff, right? Where it's like, well, I got to heal this now. And I want to move through this because it's too uncomfortable. And it's like, okay, well, then take a step back and be in presence with that discomfort. You don't have to alchemize that in the space of relationship. You can do that in the space of your relationship with the divine or another trusted other or with yourself, right? And take as much space as you need to allow that to clear. And there are going to be times when you desire to be held in that, even if it's by the person that you feel tension with. And that's okay, right? That's okay. You don't even have to have a conversation about it. You can just come into like, okay, let's be present with this energy. We can open the akash. We can just be present in this energy that is being brought to our attention. Let's get curious about it instead of spitting back and forth at one another or feeling like, oh, this person's doing this or that person's doing that, right? Okay. So where is this coming up for you? Just let it be seen. Whether you jot this in your own journal, whether you just have an awareness in your mind, or whether you throw it in the chat right now. How do we heal the narcissistic relationship aftermath of such a relationship in the Akashic? I can tell you that I'm a walking example of that. Multiple narcissistic experiences in my lifetime as well. That's really deeply about self-trust. It's really about self-trust and coming into discernment of your own energy and getting really, really precisely refined within your energy field about using your voice in a way that feels like you. And that's what can happen in narcissistic relationships is you can lose the sensation of you, right? Get confused about the sensation of you. And that's why we talk about the sensation of you, because confusion is very common in narcissistic relationships. Confusion exists in the mind, right? And that can also be an extension of the nervous system because the nervous system doesn't feel safe. So anytime we are in the space of the Akashic, the nervous system is getting rewired. The nervous system is coming to a space of calm, recenteredness, and the energy is getting reorganized and redirected, right? And it's becoming more cohesive and healed. And it's finding trust again, finding trust in divine relationship and finding trust within yourself and in the energy of relationship. Okay. Allowing those trauma narratives, those blame experiences, those thoughts that come up for you, allowing those to be there. They're allowed to be there. Sure. Bring them into space with the Akash. Let them be seen and let them be transformed, healed. Okay. So that's the piece I wanted to talk about around the trauma response and attachments, because we can get really, really, really caught in our minds. And I can promise you, if you're in this, this grippy, like, but I got to fix this now, urgency stuff, that's nervous system patterns. That's where we need to just, okay, anchoring in, centering in. When I feel really calm and clear and centered, that's when I know, that's when I have clarity. Okay. They don't like it when you tap into your own power. Do better. Thank you. You're welcome. I noticed that myself with my own history in narcissistic relationships is like part of this. I mean, my soul contracted for this, right? My soul chose this. So I was like, okay, what is this doing for me? For me, it was an excellent way for me to abdicate responsibility. It was excellent for me. And I did that unknowingly for years, right? So yeah, claiming responsibility, brilliant. And knowing what to claim responsibility for is the discernment that we find when we're in relationship with our soul. Trying to disconnect my energy for years from someone else, but it keeps returning. I love and hate it at the same time. It's just inconvenient. Good. Be with the inconvenience. I like that recognition. Be with the inconvenience. And you can use that journal prompt, that deepest fear journal prompt. I absolutely refuse to fully disconnect my energy from this person because I have a deep fear of that, and just write until you get the aha moment or the energy feels complete. Okay. Because the piece is sometimes we can say, well, they keep coming back into my life because there's something that's not complete there. Okay. Well, that's very possible. Yes. But it's also like, okay, where does that responsibility lie? That responsibility, like your awareness, how, you're being invited to dial in your awareness. Are you choosing to do that each time? Great. Then let's celebrate it. And sometimes our lessons are inconvenient, whether we're talking about relationships or what. Like my relationship with my body, it was very inconvenient for me to have sepsis 8 years ago and to have trouble walking for 3 years. Like that was very inconvenient, and it kept returning, and I was trying to disconnect my energy from it. Right. And so there were deeper lessons there that not only needed to be extracted and cleared, but I needed to take responsibility for claiming that I can do whatever I want with that. Right. And I can create whatever I want, and I can feel fully free, regardless of whether this person's in my life or our energies are connected. I can feel fully free anytime I want. There's nobody stopping me. Right. Relationship with needing validation before true accomplished feelings. Yeah, that's beautiful. It's relying on that external confirmation before we're able to feel like, okay, I'm at rest in this. That's faith. That's faith, right? I get to be at rest in the love that is being offered to me through this relationship of whatever form. Right? I get to be at rest within that love. I don't have to attach the love to who it's coming from, to how they're delivering it. I just get to recognize that it's love and get to receive that and be in space with that, and know that as I immerse in it and get deeper and deeper into the tasting its resonance and just bathing and soaking in it, the less I give a shit about validation. Right? So these are all invitations back. Okay. The third area that the Akashic Records helps you with healing relationships is coming into relationship with yourself, right? And we've talked about this some already, but this is about you really unlocking the deeper intimacy of your relationships with the parts of yourselves. So that means my relationship with my heart, my relationship with my body, my relationship with my energy, with my spirit, my relationship with my mind. Right? I don't want to chastise my mind either. We do that. We even chastise our minds because it's running. My relationship with my nervous system, with my digestive system, with my energy field and my aura, right? Coming into this is where self-compassion practice in the space of the records can be very helpful. And literally just receiving in the records, doing nothing else but receiving. And allowing all parts of you to arise and just be present. Do one at a time if you want. Okay, today I'm coming into receptive present space with my inner child. Great. Right? Because it's that cohesiveness and that unity of I am in acceptance and appreciation and deep love and obsession with all of me. Even the parts that feel like shame. Even the parts that feel like I can't believe I did that. Or, God, I was a dick. Like anything, or that hurts, right? Or that makes me feel sick to my stomach. Being in presence with these parts of you. Because as you grow, I'll tell you, this has helped me so much. Like relationships that had conflict for years and years and years, particularly family stuff, right? I mean, don't we all have that stuff? And it's funny because even where we were talking about the narcissistic piece earlier, there are narratives that objectively are very, very accurate about some of these relationships. Like, well, this person is self-absorbed and this person is doing this and that. And you can say that's judgment, right? But you can also say that objectively, their behavior was very clearly stating this, that I was being disregarded, right? And it comes down to it. And it's like, well, what does that reflect within me? Where am I disregarding that? Like, why am I so fucking reliant on them regarding me? Right. And what's funny is that the more I regarded myself and took responsibility for showing up fully as myself instead of, oh, can we work on this? And da 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 da. And I'm not saying don't work on shit in relationships, but it was like the more that I did that, it was annoying, right? It was annoying because really, I was meant to show up and say, I get to decide how I want to feel and how I want to operate in this relationship. And I get to communicate that from a space of using my I statements. I've been a therapist for 20 years. So that was one of the favorite things from grad school. Use your I statement when you're in conflict. I feel, not you make me feel, right? So it was like, well, I am feeling this way. And so I am going to go do this. Or I am feeling like I have constriction in my body. So I am going to go attend to that. Or I am right. Like I needed to come into responsibility for expressing what I desired and what I needed to attend to in those moments. Right. Or in those relationships. And when I did that, my God, did they fall in line? Not with like following what I was doing. Right. But meaning softening, becoming more of who they were, coming into more authentic exchange, being more receptive of who I am. And I'm not saying this is going to happen with every single person because, again, every contract is different. Okay. If they decide or their soul desires to take them on a different journey, or they decide, I don't want to deal with this shit, they don't have to. And that's where the attachment piece comes in. That doesn't mean you might not feel grief around that. Right? That doesn't mean that, but it also means that there's a more brilliant, beautiful, light, gorgeous opening that is arriving for you through that experience. And that's what I think a lot of us don't, we get so stuck in the muck, and it's a recognition. This is a gateway. This is an invitation. And it's funny because we talk about this energy of relationship, right? This energy of relationship. And it's like, okay, when I'm in the energy of relationship and I'm very, very clean and clear about the energy of myself, it's very clear to me when I am then in this space between, is what I call it, right? Between this person and myself. It's very clear when there is a shift in that space between that does not serve me, right? Or that does not feel like me, because I'm so clean on myself. This is what helps us move into this fourth part, which is about boundaries, okay? Which I'm going to talk about in just a minute. But the last piece I want to talk about in this third section around coming into this intimacy and cohesiveness of relationship with yourself is recognizing that when you do that, you just don't care so much about what other people are doing. Like you just have appreciation for whatever their journey is. Like my favorite mantra ever, I trust the journey of my loved ones and release attachment to it. I trust the journey of my loved ones and release attachment to it, right? Like I trust your journey and I am not gripping on to yours as having to be part of mine in a certain way or at a certain time or for a certain length of time to fulfill me, because I love you and I love your journey. And I know that the unfolding of your journey is also going to serve mine and vice versa. Right. And so it's not being in this, well, we have to do this because it's like, let's connect with let's connect with the soul contract. Let's just be in presence with, let's see what the energy shows us. Right. Instead of this trying, forcing, struggling, like, oh, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Right. And relationships are meant to fuel and fill us. We are meant to feel deeply fulfilled. Okay. And that is this last section of how the Akashic Records help you in healing your relationships with the records, or relationships with others or with yourself, is to really have a clear vision of your future. And this is not like, okay, I want exactly this partner and this house in this location with this amount of money. We don't want to attach to all of these tangible things. What do you know you desire to feel? What do you know you are locked in? Like for me, I am locked in on my soul's mission. I am locked in on my divine assignment. And when it doesn't feel like my divine assignment, I know it doesn't feel like my divine assignment. And I'm like, absolutely, that's great. I'm going to go attend to my divine assignment first because that's what's calling me more strongly. And then I will come back to this. It doesn't mean you don't have space here. It means that I am locked in on where I am being magnetically drawn by my soul. And it is so bold, right? And so that is where this last part of has helped me so much in the space of the records, because it helps with those boundaries, because boundaries aren't about other people, right? They're about ourselves. Like if I set a boundary for every, Dick, Tom, and Harry who's in my life, it would be freaking exhausting. Like, okay, what's this dude's boundary? I mean, listen, we're not holding these in our minds, but it gets confusing in the energy field. Instead, it's like, where am I dialed in? Where is my soul dialing my energy in right now? Gather that information. Don't decide, gather that information and then lock in. That's where devotion comes in. That's where the mind is so helpful. And this is where we rewire the nervous system as well, to keep bringing ourselves back to, no, don't get distracted, Laura. No, don't get distracted, Laura. No, this is where we're going. This is the bold mission that continues to expand you. And that's the point of this part. That's the point of this part, is that your boundaries that you feel into here are going to be clear around what expands what I am being magnetically drawn to, opens space for that, encourages that, offers more momentum for that, opens me more to welcome that and become more of that and to embody more of that. That's where I put my energy. That's where I dial in relationship. That's where I receive my most expansive, light, loving, dynamic, inspiring exchange in communion with other human beings. Right? And we think, well, this person's dragging me down. God, I said that for years. I remember waking up one day and being like, oh, shit. I've been blaming this person for not moving ahead, or thinking like, oh, they're holding me back. Nobody can hold you back. My vision wasn't clear. My conviction wasn't firm enough. My clarity was the edges were messy. And that doesn't mean that our edges still don't become messy, right? But it's just that continue or turn, right? Exactly, Heather. This other energy distracts you from my mission. That's your choice. That's your responsibility, right? So what are we going to do now about this? We're going to come into presence in space with our Akashic records, with our soul. We're going to get to know our soul. Again, here's the link for the YouTube video. Check it out. You can open your Akash anytime you want in that one. The meditation starts around 18 minutes. I don't care if you do nothing in there, but be present right now. But the 4 things that I have told you today around the past life karmic energy, the trauma response / attachments, coming into relationship with yourself and all parts of yourself, and having this convicted vision / mission, right? I know there were a lot of really good nuggets that fell under each of those umbrellas, but like I'm telling you, the alchemical process that occurs just by having this awareness alone, even if leaving this, you're like consciously, okay, what am I going to do? And drop a takeaway. If you have a takeaway that you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to focus on. This is what, drop it in the comments to hold yourself accountable, let it be seen, and give it 3D space to live so that it has this, that it's in relationship with you in terms of she's bringing me into form. He's bringing me into form. They're bringing me into form. Right? They're listening. They're taking this seriously. They're devoting. Because I did a card spread for this live about, I don't know, a couple hours ago. And the card spread told me, it was beautiful because it was everything that had already come through for this live, which is really that, like, if you have pain or struggle or discomfort in your relationship right now, It's because there's like an anger or a resentment that you have that exists most likely around yourself not taking your own responsibility to be able to move forward or to be able to say, I just, this just isn't feeling, this feels tense right now, or this isn't feeling aligned right now. Or I just desire some space for the energy to quell. Why? Because I love you, because I care about you, because I desire connection, right? Not because I want to cut you off and be a spiteful bitch. It's because I want to be I am devoted to the evolution of conscious, open, calm, centered, loving relationship. And so in that, with this card spread, I'm going to take one step at a time. I'm going to allow myself to be reflected within this. I'm going to release attachment to the outcome. And the outcome of this vibrationally is faith. Faith in myself, faith that I can trust my own discernment, faith in my soul, faith in my path, faith in their path, faith in our collective path and contract. Okay. So as awarenesses come up within this, you might bounce around in these different categories. Use the whole template. Use one at a time if you want. Apply the whole template to one relationship if you desire, but really feel into it as energy. Recognize that the center of all of this is your center. And your center is clear. Your center is clear. And I understand that there's some of you who may be in a space that's like, dude, I just cannot. I'm chasing my tail. I cannot get out of this shit. That's where, book a session with me, jump into the Akash and customize this. Let yourself receive this concentrated healing, particularly within your field, and direct guidance from your soul around what's coming up for you. If you're feeling like, I am so sticky, because this is the fact too, guys, you don't have to do this alone. So that means whether it's, somebody in your life that just, you can rest in, or booking a session, great, right? Great. Because the fact is, it's like, I have my space. It's like Dirty Dancing. Has anybody seen Dirty Dancing? I have my dance space. You have your dance space. I don't go into yours. You don't go into mine. So it's like, I have my dance space. You have your dance space. And then I say there's the space between. Let's not get so much in the, oh my God, energy, and instead come into a, guess what? Here's my dance space. There's your dance space. I get to actually witness this space in between us being detached from it. I get to witness the whirlwind of energy that exists in this space between, that has its own energetic blueprint and frequency, because the relationship itself owns its own frequency. I get to open the Akashic Records of this space in between and have it have nothing to do with me. Of course it does, because it crosses over. But do you know what I'm saying? Like, don't personalize it so much to you or the other. It's like, let me get curious about what this energy in this space between within this relationship is saying. Okay. Oh, I like the energy today, you guys. Okay. So if you want to jump on an Akashic session, take a customized stuff, great. If you want to learn more about your own Akashic Records, I dropped that video, obviously start there. But if you want to go deeper, I have an intro to the Akashic Records course that you can start with, to just give you a little bit more in-depth understanding of how does this energy uniquely operate through me? What is it telling me? Because everybody's relationship with it is different, just like everybody's relationship with the divine is different, And so the more people that access this space, the more we learn. The more we learn about what's available to us in relationship with the divine. And it's cool. It offers us more possibility, offers us more of an exhale, like, it does get to be easier. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, human, for sharing what's come through you, right? And how the records uniquely speak through you. I learn something new all the time as I connect with people. Okay. So I encourage you to check that out. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to email me at emergehealingandwellness@gmail.com. And does anybody else have something that is coming up that would like to be seen before we close up today and close the records? Lock in. I love that, Brittany. You're very welcome. And if nobody has anything that they desire feedback on, I'm just going to hold space here for another moment. Trying to figure out how to compassionately interact with family members, even after setting boundaries. Compassion's easy for you. That's what comes up, Stephanie. Compassion's easy for you, dude. The only thing getting in the way is your guilt or discomfort that comes up after setting boundaries, because you're just like, oh shit, like, what are they going to do now? What's going to happen now, right? Or like, I worry about what they're thinking, or are they hurt, or did it, like, compassion's easy for you. That's not something you have to figure out. You don't have to figure out how to compassionately interact. You know how to do that, right? So just be in space with the guilt or anxiety or discomfort that comes up from the fact. And that's important, you guys. Like, when you do communicate this stuff, sometimes you will get a surge of like, ugh, and then you'll feel like, oh, that wasn't the right thing to do. No, that's not true. You're actually just telling your nervous system we're doing it differently, and your nervous system's like, wait, we've been doing this way for like 30 years. Could we just kind of stay within the comfort zone? That would be great, right? And so you get to then kind of parent your nervous system there and say, I get it, totally get it. I do, but this is, we're playing a new way now, and we're paving a new way. And it feels good, man. And it feels free. And that's the vibration to come into, Stephanie. I am my center. My center is clear. All right, friends. I am so grateful for your presence here today on the live, for your presence on the replay. And I'm excited to see what unfolds for you, and the openings and the lightness and the more expansive breath that occurs within your relationships, the more space that occurs in your relationships and in yourself as you implement these things. So keep me posted as things come up, and just come back to this and jot it in the comments. Yes, the intro to the Akashic Records is self-paced. Yes, it is. I love you. I'm just going to send you giant hugs and big, big love. Receive. Allow yourself to receive. It's a beautiful part of relationships, right? Giving and receiving. Again, something you're not going to have to put effort into when your center is clear, because you can trust your giving. You can trust your receiving. Have a beautiful day, everyone. I will see you very soon. Mwah. Bye.